you want to write a book, I want to tell you how you can do it. Writing a book was a dream of mine for a really, really long time. In 2011, I was going to bed one night and lying in bed, all of a sudden, I just started to get ideas for stuff I wanted to write down and say. As it happens, there was a notebook and pen by my bed, so I just began scribbling and scribbling and scribbling. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've just started writing a book. After that, I got really excited and I was like, I am gonna lock myself away and I'm gonna write this book. I locked myself away for a week and pressured myself to write this book. It was so bad. I knew in my heart it was so bad. But anyway, I ignored that and I proceeded, and I remember getting the book printed and physically having it in my hands. And while it was exciting, I knew that there's no way in hell I could ever share the contents of that book with anyone because it was just rubbish. I knew I wanted to write a book, but it was like, how do you actually write a book that you feel really good about? How do you go about getting it published? So I really want to take you behind the scenes of my journey in this episode. If you're a coach, a consultant, a service-based business, a product-based business, a course creator, membership site owner, whatever kind of business you run, creating a book can create so much authority, credibility, it can raise your profile, it can create visibility. It's just an incredible tool. If you think about it, if you've read a book of someone that you love, how did it change the way you thought about that person or felt about that person? I know for me, when I read books of people that I love, I hold them up here. Like, it just changes the way that I view them and it just creates so much more authority. And often when I read a book that's really good, I just want to know that person more. I want to buy stuff from them. I trust them. I feel like I've got a much deeper relationship with them. We can all write a book. We can all create a book. So I've got some really important tips to share with you on how you can do this and make it easier for yourself. So this is my book, She Means Business. It was published in 2017 with Hay House, who were the publisher I dreamt about getting published with. Oh my gosh, to get this out of me, it took a long time. I was like, if I want to get published with Hay House, then I should go along and like get to know people at Hay House. And as a publisher, Hay House often run lots of in-person events. So they were having an in-person event in London for Gabrielle Bernstein, a Hay House author. So I decided to go along, get in the line and get my book of hers signed by her. And then when I got to the front, I asked her if I could interview her, because what was she going to say? No, right then, there, like in front of other people. She said, yeah, sure. And she connected me with somebody at Hay House to sort it out. So then once I've been connected with the people at Hay House, I was like, if there are any other authors I can interview or if there's anything else I can do to support you, let me know. And so I wanted to kind of like get on their radar and for them to know about me and like what I was doing. Firstly, my tip in that, if you want to write a book and you want to get it published, you can do it, but start making connections, start figuring out, okay, who is the publisher I would love to get published with? Do they host events? What do they do? How can I connect with them? How can I connect with them on social media? How can I get on their radar? How can I be helpful to them? How can I be supportive to them? And think about that. Think about how you can start establishing those relationships. In 2015, I got an email from the editor at Hay House, and she said, I've been following you online for about the past 6 months. I really like what you're doing, and would you be interested in writing a book? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is Hay House coming and saying this. And I was like, yes. And so I said I was interested, and I ended up signing a publishing deal with Hay House. Then it became the hard challenge of like getting this book out of my head. This is probably the hardest part for so many of us, because we get in our own way and we think, but I'm not the expert, who am I to write this? And we overthink it, we think we have to be someone we're not, and it can become really challenging. For me, my biggest struggle was feeling like I was writing this business book, but feeling like I didn't have all the answers. How could I write this business book? And it felt like massive imposter syndrome. And for me, one of the biggest shifts I made was, I'm not writing this book because I have all the answers. I'm writing the book to share my story, my experiences, and the things that I have learned that have helped me. And when I realized that, it became doable because I knew how to share that information. I wasn't trying to be something I'm not. I wasn't trying to be this guru that had it all figured out. I was just trying to be me and share my own story and experiences. And that, as an author, is all we can ever really do. In order to like write this book, the first thing was really sitting down and kind of getting the bones of it in place. I knew I wanted to write a book for women in business to help them to build successful online businesses. And so I divided it into 3 sections. The first section was called She Shows Up for Her Dreams, which was all about like the inner work and like who you need to be to actually build a successful business. The second part was like she gets herself out there to shine. It was like, okay, what do you actually need to do to build your business, to get started in your business, to get yourself out there, to build your profile, your credibility, your authority. And then the third part was called She's Unstoppable, which was like, okay, so now you've got that business, how do you actually grow it? Talking about team and mentors, how to avoid overwhelm, how to like celebrate wins, take care of yourself, that kind of piece. So I knew I wanted those 3 sections. So the first thing is like really try and create like the framework or the bones of your book. know what the sections are going to be. And then once I'd created those sections, I literally got some post-it notes and I started to write out what did I want to say in each section, and I got different colours for each section, and I began to write out what I wanted to talk about. So I thought about my stories, I thought about my experiences, I thought about the tips I wanted to share, and I just began like playing around with the post-it notes and moving things around, and until I could start to like build a picture up of like what did I want to say in each section. I would often find myself feeling blocked and staring at a blank screen thinking, I don't know where to begin. So I actually got my phone out and began making audio notes for myself. And then I would waffle on in my phone about what I wanted to say. And then I sent it off and had everything transcribed. And then it was there, and then I began playing around with it. I also got my friends to interview me, and I got people to ask me questions to help them pull the gold from out of me, because often I found that if I was having conversations with people or if I was being interviewed, I would just start talking, and it just was like all of a sudden I began channeling the information, like it just flowed out of me. Whereas I felt when I was trying to write a book and I was staring at a blank screen, I was forcing it out and I wanted it to flow out. So I got people to interview me, and again I got those interviews transcribed, and that again helped me to start pulling the pieces together. I would also literally sit on my sofa imagining a beam of light coming down through my head and just imagining just downloading this book with ease, and just my fingers typing and just stuff flowing through me. I literally vividly visualized it because I just wanted it to flow rather than it to be me forcing and pushing. And I kept vividly visualizing the book being done. I vividly visualized having the book in my hands for the first time. I vividly visualized seeing the book in the bookstore for the first time. And I kept focused on like that becoming my reality and it happening with ease, and getting myself in that energy rather than in the energy of like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Yes, I felt that way, but then I would recognize it, and then I would stop and put myself in the energy of, this is a done deal, and I'm putting this out there and I'm going to be so excited about it. And from that energy, it helped things to flow with more ease. Last thing is get a journal. These have my story inside of them. Get your journal and start writing your story as you go. So for me, I literally made this the Diary of a Female Entrepreneur 2011. And as I started writing this book, I knew that one day I was going to make it. Throughout this book, I run out of money, I am stuck, I am lost, I'm overwhelmed, I cried tears onto these pages because I felt like I don't know if I can keep going and felt like I needed to quit. It has got all of my emotion in. It has also got the moment that I started making money, the moment I actually hit 7 figures, the moment I had a 6-figure month. All of that is contained within these pages. So when I came to write my book, it became easier because I was using a lot of the stories I had put inside my journal. So if you want to write a book, then start a journal and start documenting and capturing your stories. It's not only going to be helpful for writing a book, it's going to be helpful for creating any kind of content that you want to create with building your online business. So highly recommend that. So those were the biggest things that I did that really helped me to get my book out of me. And it was hard, it felt challenging, I had to work on getting out of my own way, I had to deal with the overwhelm, I had to deal with this massive, enormous document of like thousands and thousands of words and like how to process that. But little step by little step, I just kept going until I'd written this book. Writing a book is a very individual process, but it's such a powerful thing for all of us to do, and you don't have to wait until, again, you've got everything perfectly figured out to start writing it. It took me, I think, 6 years to go from having the idea to write the book to actually finishing writing it. It took a long time. Have patience with yourself. If you start and it's crappy at first, it's fine. You can start again and it might be crappy again and it's fine, and it might be crappy again and it's fine. And you know what, as you keep going, you'll figure it out and it'll get better and better and better. I think so often we put so much pressure on ourselves to do this perfect first draft. No one does a perfect first draft ever. So I think it's just like remembering that, and you have gold inside of you to share. So just allowing it to come out in the way it's meant to come out over the time period in which it's meant to come out. It's such an exciting experience, and it's going to be such a game changer for your business. So I will see you in the next episode. If you want more help to build a really successful online business, then come and take our quiz. We're going to ask you a few simple questions, and then after that we'll give you a personalized plan for how you can build a really successful business based on where you are at. Go and take it. The link is below, and I will see you in the next episode. If you've got any questions whatsoever on this, please reach out, let me know, leave me a comment, reach out on Instagram, send me an email. I would love to help you so much more with this. I'm excited to see you in the next episode. We're going to dive deeper into launching, and I've got lots of more exciting things to share, but launching is such a powerful thing. Whether you're launching a book, whether you're launching a course or a membership or a program, so powerful, something that all of us with online businesses need to get really good at.